Hey guys, welcome back to the United Star. I have Atanu with me here, and we're going to give the game yesterday, the disaster class from Ollie. We're going to give it a little more of a look into. We're going to analyze what exactly happened in the game. We're going to look into if if the world that is crumbling around us with shouts of Ollie out being strengthened again and all of that, does it make any sense, or is it all overreaction? Is it just a one-off game where individual mistakes cost us, or was it a deeper rooted problem that United has? Atanu, let's get straight into it. Before we begin our analysis, obviously, I think we did score a goal, and we did score a very good goal. And I think we have to talk about it for a bit because I think both the creator of the goal and the scorer of the goal deserve applause for the way the goal was scored. Bruno with an assist from the outside of his foot from the left wing, ball in, Ronaldo making the run on the far post and getting the connection. It just squirms through the keeper's legs, but goal's a goal. What was your opinion of the goal?
Fantastic goal, and I think that was one of those chances, one of those chances where you see the assist and then you see the person who scored it. So I saw a lot of praise for Cristiano Ronaldo, and of course, there aren't many people who will receive that ball. Some people have very bad touches, but the way he scored that goal, amazing. But I just want to talk about that assist. Bruno Fernandes, masterclass. That was a perfect assist. And I was watching it on a loop again and again until the time we scored, we conceded. And yes, I think having the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes as the team is an amazing thing. And when you have players like them, you don't deserve you don't deserve to lose. You should be winning. And people saw when Cristiano Ronaldo signed that maybe he might overshadow Bruno Fernandes, and they don't actually connect at in Portugal. But that's because Bruno Fernandes plays a very different role in Portuguese squad. So I'm happy that they are having that connection. I'm really looking forward to seeing Luke Shaw and Cristiano Ronaldo. Luke Shaw putting in those crosses, and Cristiano Ronaldo, and he just heads them into the bottom of the net, and that is possible. But yeah, Bruno Fernandes, amazing assist, and I'm a little sad that we only took two shots in the whole game. Only two shots in the whole game,
Yeah, I
and
think
both of the shots were from Cristiano Ronaldo only. Where were the other people?
yeah, so we'll come to that a little bit later. But obviously, this goal happened in the 13th minute, and everything looked very rosy. Obviously, I personally don't think that we were anyway playing very good football. I don't think we were that good even before what happened towards the later half of the later first half. But I think we can let that slide because there's a lot to cover after the 35th minute when Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I don't know what he's thinking. He's in the opposition half. He's facing away from his goal. He's in the midfield. He's not even on the wing. He's on the flank. He doesn't need to go for a challenge. He has a loose touch, and he goes in for it. Studs first, straight on the ankle. I've heard a lot of people say, and a lot of comments I've read on Twitter and all that it wasn't a red. I don't think you're watching football then, because I think that was a straight red, and I don't think there's any sort of debate as to if he shouldn't have been sent off. Because I'm sure if it was on that foul was on a United player, I would have been shouting for a red card, and he got the red card deservedly so. He had to get the red card. It was an absolutely stupid mistake, and it affected the team very badly.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a red. I'm being honest, because I don't know much rules about whether when there's a red card. But that was a very harsh tackle. That was unnecessarily. Aaron Wan-Bissaka was trying to be a hero of winning the ball back. Just don't do that, please. And that too on the edge of the opposition's half. I think, like it was the opposition's half, and I mean, it reminded me of that Fred red card against PSG in the last time when we were in the group stages. Of course, last time we didn't qualify to the knockout stages, but yeah, that reminded me of that Fred's red card, second yellow card, and unnecessarily going into a tackle. That's not how you are supposed to be. And because of that red card, one of the players who I was looking forward to watch, Jadon Sancho, had to be sacrificed. And he was doing good. I mean, I just want to talk about Jadon Sancho right now. He was doing really good, not as quite as good as we expected him to be, but he was putting in those performances. His passing accuracy was very good. He was making those dummy runs, those quick touch passes with Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
And I like that you pointed out Jadon Sancho because he was the only player in the 11 who was a very direct player. Obviously, Ronaldo is more of the finisher. The other wing was Pogba, who was he's more of an inverted winger. Jadon Sancho is that pacey, tricky winger who takes on players, makes the runs, puts in the ball, gets the shot off. He was that player, and he was the only player in the team who was like that. Obviously, you could say Bruno is that sort of a player, but he's obviously again more central and more towards the midfield. Jadon Sancho was that player. Jadon Sancho was that player, and it's very unfortunate. Not only Jadon Sancho, you mentioned Jadon Sancho. I feel even worse for Donny van de Beek because I doubt that he would have been taken off if there wasn't a red card. But now this brings me to my second point. Now we talk more about Oli. Uh, See, Atanu, when there's a red cards are common. I mean, not common, but like it happens a lot. It's not uncommon. It happens a lot in football. We see good teams have concede a red card. We see the poor teams concede a red card. It happens all over. But there's always a contingency plan. There's always a backup plan. You don't go into a game with just taking the ideal scenario. You have to consider these cases where your best player gets sent off, your winger gets sent off, your fullback gets sent off, your keeper gets sent off. How do you cope up with that? The in-game management of how your team is. If your team is a goal up, do you defend it? Do you go for the goal? Do you play more at a counter? It's decided, and that I felt that was lacking. Now I know that United all he wanted to set up a back five and he wanted to defend the lead. That didn't happen. Obviously, that didn't happen. And I am personally never for that sort of defend the lead sort of. Obviously, if it's 10 or 15 minutes towards the end or 20 minutes also, it makes sense. But from the 35th minute itself, we saw that United weren't going forward. They had no ambition going forward. Jadon Sancho was off, so there was no one to carry the ball ahead. It was all Ronaldo left completely isolated in front. He had to press. He had to do everything alone. He had no link up with Bruno. We had all defenders were back. All our midfielders were defending. Nothing going forward. And this sort of reminds me of the Chelsea Liverpool game last week before the international break, where Chelsea conceded a red card in the 45th minute and they conceded a goal. But in the second half, with 10 men, they look like the better team. I know it's Chelsea. I know it's obviously it's a different scenario, but that is what I expect out of United. That is what I want to see from my team because United has the squad now. All you can't say that he doesn't have the squad. I get you may not have the right midfielders, but you have the squad. You have probably the best attack in all of Europe. Arguably, you have fantastic defensive partnership. You have probably the best left back in all of Europe. You have the squad, and even then you play out. You sit and you don't even counter. You just want to park the bus, and I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that at all. I for one don't think that the whole blame should be put on Oli, but you are absolutely right that there should be a contingency plan, and like this is basics of football management. When if your player gets a red card, you have to have that plan in mind. Okay, what will I do next? If it's a striker, what will I do next? I am fine with Sancho going off and Dalot coming in. That's because I thought he wanted to have that he has that pragmatic style. Okay, we are 1-0 up, so let's not concede anymore. Dalot coming in, I have no problem with that. Of course, somebody had to be sacrificed, and it was Jadon Sancho then. But the moment he brought out Donny van de Beek, okay, so I thought, okay, to to some extent that was even fine. Okay, he's trying to be a bit more pragmatic, bringing in Varane, of course, playing a back five. But you saw Fred. Okay, I'm not trying to scapegoat Fred here. He's a good player, but this sort of game, he wasn't comfortable with the ball. He wasn't comfortable defending the ball. So I think sometimes you have to be a bit more ruthless. And the moment he took out Cristiano Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes, and he brought on, I think, Nemanja Matic and Jesse Lingard, I thought, okay, fine. That to some extent, okay, I'm fine. But if you're bringing on Jesse Lingard, why aren't you bringing on Mason Greenwood? If you're bringing on Anthony Martial towards the end of the match, I think Fred was subbed off and Anthony Martial was subbed on. Why aren't you bringing in Mason Greenwood, who's supposed to be one of the best strikers in the world right now, in my opinion? He's one of the best finishers in the world right now. So, when we question Oli substitutions, we are not trying to, put the whole blame on Oli. Of course, the players who are coming in have to put in those performances. But when the likes of Mason Greenwood are left on the bench, you just, there's a limit when you can back Oli, when you can defend Oli. And this was one of those matches where I had no points to defend Oli. I am a big Oli admirer, but
Yeah,
I don't see any points at all to
I
defend
agree.
him right
I
now.
agree with your point, but I would go on one step further to say that I blame Oli completely for the substitutions. I get, like you said, I understand Jadon Sancho's substitution because we needed a right back. You need four defenders to play. Obviously, you can't play with less than four. I get that. It's fine. But what is the logic of getting? See, Ronaldo was completely isolated and he doesn't have the pace. We saw that one attempt, one chance he got where there was a back pass and he latched onto it, but he couldn't get through that quickly. He doesn't have the pace, and I understand he's not in the team for that pacey run. I think when Oli saw that, he should have gotten on Mason Greenwood for Cristiano. I'm not doubting Cristiano's abilities. I'm not saying he's anything but a fantastic player, but Greenwood would have suited that role. Greenwood is much quicker. He would have obviously he would have the defense. You see, if young boys defense, they were at the center at the half line. They had no one to take care of. Even if it's Ronaldo, they knew they could catch up. And after Ronaldo got subbed off, there was no one. So they knew that they could play a very high line. They could keep putting the pressure on us. They could keep recycling the ball. Had Mason Greenwood be there, they couldn't have done that so easily. They would have had that thought in mind that Mason Greenwood's there and he's quick. And if he gets onto the ball, we might be in trouble catching up with him. So they would have had to maintain a lower line. And that would have benefited United much more because it would have taken longer to recycle the ball and maybe would have had a chance to intercept when they were trying to recycle the ball. But I sometimes don't understand if I can think like this. If I'm sure Oli can think like this, I'm sure Michael Carrick, I'm sure Kieran McKenna, Mike Phelan can think like this. Why is the team then not set up accordingly? Why is it not? Why is it that your Ronaldo was left completely isolated for the game? The only way that we could have gone forward was Pogba carrying the ball. I think Pogba had a very good game, although we lost. I do think he had a good game because he was quite alone in the midfield. He had to. There were so many chances where he was trying to do everything himself. He was trying to take on 5 players at a time. I may not have worked out, but I'll give Pogba all the applause for making the attempt because there was nothing else happening around him. There was no one making the run so that he could play a longer ball to. Nothing else like that was happening.
At you're absolutely right. There was no pace. When you took out Jadon Sancho, there was no proper winger, like you said.
Yeah,
Pogba is only an inverted winger. And I absolutely agree with your point that Cristiano Ronaldo can't do everything on the pitch.
exactly.
And that is why people, blame Cristiano Ronaldo's Juventus tenure that okay, he didn't do well. But how much can he do on the pitch? The teammates are also there. They also have to contribute to the team, to Cristiano Ronaldo and the team as a whole. And I absolutely agree with your point that Pogba did well, but I think it was one of those off games because we expect Pogba to do all these things on a regular basis, and he wasn't able to do that because obviously we were a man down. I totally agree with your point that okay, Oli should be blamed for that. But my only point is those two shots. I agree we were 10 men. We were only with 10 men. One player had got a red card, but only 2 shots in the whole game. Yes, Oli should have fielded the side better. I agree. Greenwood should have come on. There was no pace on the wings. When you took out Bruno Fernandes and Cristiano Ronaldo, there was no playmaker on the pitch. Only Paul Pogba alone. Jesse Lingard can't play that role. You can't expect him to be that false nine and running around on the pitch. That's what Mason Greenwood is for. yes, Oli should be blamed. I'm not saying that he shouldn't be blamed. I said that it's hard defending Oli right now, but the blame has to be put on some other players as well.
I agree. You're right. Obviously, I think they have to take the blame. Uh, Coming to the goal that we conceded, I think Luke Shaw wasn't close enough. Not only that, the player, obviously, then it was a little unfortunate because it deflected off Luke Shaw, and then Maguire was off, completely taken off, and then Varane was beaten to it by the striker. That was obviously the first goal we conceded, and I think Luke Shaw should have done better. He should have gone much closer to the winger. But coming to the second goal, I just this is funny talking about it also, but what is Lingard doing? You are 20 seconds away from I won't even say respectable, from like it just barely saves you the blushes. A draw against a team. I mean, let me put it this way. No offense to young boys, no disrespect to them. But the only thing I knew about this team is that we played them a couple of years back. That's it. Like I didn't know anything about them. I didn't know that they were the Swiss champions. I didn't know that. I knew nothing about them. But full credit to them for getting the win. And yeah, Lingard's.
I can, just feel the pain in that silence for those 2 3 seconds that you took. But just talking about that first goal that we conceded, yes, Luke Shaw should have done better. I think Harry Maguire and Rafael Varane also should have done better. But yes, Luke Shaw's the ball was deflected off Luke Shaw, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But these are the types of games where we, if they had just tried to steal the ball away or block the ball, we would be praising them right now. It's that
Yeah,
quick 1 2 seconds of instinct that you have to have. So yes, I agree. Like, okay, fine, we conceded a goal, and to some extent, I thought, okay, Oli is playing for a draw, according to the serves that he did. At a point, there were Rafael Varane, Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, Diogo Dalot, Nemanja Matic, Fred, seven players, seven defensive minded players on the pitch.
exactly.
And
And you've not even counted the keeper, who's that's eight
yeah,
players
the
with, and only Lingard and who else? Martial, I
eight
think.
players, Paul Pogba, Jesse Lingard, and
Martial
yeah,
came in
one
later.
was red
Yeah,
card. Yeah, one was
yeah.
red card. Yeah.
It's absolutely baffling. And yeah, I mean, what I want to bring out in this is, obviously now I'm talking in hindsight. I wouldn't have known this during the game, but we conceded two goals after going to a back five. I'm sure we couldn't have done worse with just a back four and maybe another attacking output in the front to maybe engage the defense. Maybe we could have gotten a goal on some sort of a counter attack. I'm sure we couldn't have done worse. We couldn't have lost the game 20-21 or something. We were if we conceded two goals anyway. That's my point. So do you think I, I get it that he went to a back five. I understand that, but I still don't understand, like you said, how we didn't have more attempts on target. How we didn't have more attempts. How did we not get forward more? How did we not have more counters? United are so good at counters. Our entire last season was all counter attacking, all counter attacking. We just couldn't break down defenses, and if we had space in behind, we could counter, and we always scored. How was that not applied? How was that not used? How was that quality, that trait of United not used in this game? I don't understand that.
You made a valid point. David De Gea was also there. I forgot about him for a minute. So eight players were there to defend the ball, and rightfully we conceded two goals when we were playing a back five,
Yeah,
and that tells you how important that CDM position is. Why were we playing a back five? Because we didn't have that number six. If
yeah,
we had that number six, we would have stuck to subbing out Jadon Sancho and bringing in Diogo Dalot, and that's it. You would have that creativity of Donny van de Beek, Paul Pogba doing what they do best. You would have Bruno Fernandes and Cristiano Ronaldo up front. Yes, one man was down. We were only down to 10 men, but that number six makes a big difference. And yesterday when Sid and Vishesh were doing the watch along and Rishi was also there, I was asked during the halftime. I came on for the halftime analysis and I was asked, who would you bring off? I thought rather than bringing on Rafael Varane, I would have loved to bring on Nemanja Matic. I know he's old. I know he doesn't have those legs, but he is that number six that we need. right now. That I mean, we don't need that type of number six, but
Yeah,
that's the
I
only number six that we have right
I
now.
completely understand your emotion. Anyone who can play that number six role, who can cover the defense and who can pass the ball out, can play in that role for United. Anyone in the world. Fred can't do it. McTominay can't do it alone. They have to do it together. Matic can do it, but he doesn't have the legs. But I'd much rather have 45 minutes of Matic than 1 hour of 90 minutes of this ridiculous double pivot style that we have.
And I was just looking when Donny van de Beek was subbed off, and I was like shell shocked. Why has he subbed off Donny van de Beek? We need that creativity. And I agree. Donny van de Beek's input to that pivot was nothing. I'm being honest. There was no input of him in that double pivot.
Yeah,
Our defense was a bit more stable, so we didn't concede much. David De Gea was absolutely amazing yesterday. Even though we conceded 2 goals, but I don't want to blame David De Gea at all
yeah,
for
of
that.
course.
And Donny van de Beek's input to the game was those quick passes with Jadon Sancho, finding those spaces, and that's what he does best. And
Yeah,
that's why we need a number six. And Rian, I have been shouting for a number six. You have been shouting for a number six for this whole transfer window. Nothing has
yeah,
happened.
and I think you and I were the only people who even wanted a number six over probably Cristiano Ronaldo in the team.
I agree. Like, yes, we can't get everyone. I totally agree. We won the title with, I think Darren Fletcher was injured a
Yeah,
bit, Michael Carrick and Tom Cleverley. So, yes, no,
obviously
but
that's Sir
that was
Alex
with Sir
Ferguson
Alex
was.
Ferguson.
Yeah,
That was Sir Alex Ferguson. So, yes, we need a number six. And I think Jesse Lingard's last pass, oh my God. He should have cleared the ball. Why are you passing the ball at the
you
back?
do
There's only a
anything,
few seconds
do
left.
anything. Put it out for a corner for all I care. It's 20 seconds left. Don't pass it back to the keeper. And oh god, I mean, and it's
And
ridiculous. He's played semi-finals. He's played semi-finals for England. He's played finals for United. He's played so many important games. He's 28-year-old. He's not a Anthony Elanga who's just come into the team. He's so experienced. Even then,
How was it Anthony Elanga, subbed on for that pace? I don't understand. We needed that pace badly.
yeah,
We needed, if we were to score that second goal, and if we were to, even though Cristiano Ronaldo would have scored it, but we needed that contribution, and that was that pace we needed. And I don't
you
know
can
what
just see
what
like
is going to
we
happen.
mentioned 10 players were on the pitch. I couldn't see a goal coming from any of them. Obviously, De Gea won't score. Obviously, the front five in front of him won't score. That's 6 players. Matic, Fred, who else is there? Pogba, maybe, but if he's playing as a number six, playing as a defensive midfielder, he's not going to get forward. Lingard, maybe, but don't you have better
I
players
mean,
than Lingard to score
Lingard,
a goal?
for Lingard, what should be happening? Like he had Antonio. I'll take the example of West Ham. He had Antonio. Antonio is in the box, so defenders are focusing on Antonio as well and on Lingard as well. Right now, Lingard is alone, so the point of focus is Lingard. So
Yeah,
every defender is focusing on Lingard, and they know the likes of Paul Pogba, Diogo Dalot won't have the time to run on the wings and receive the ball. So yes, you are right that Oli got it wrong to some extent. And just before we wrap this up, I just wanted to talk about the racism that has been given to a few of our players. I've seen not much. It has slightly reduced, but we've still seen abuse being thrown at the likes of Jesse Lingard, Fred, and I don't like it. Yes, they did wrong. They should be doing better. But at the end of the day, there's a thin line between constructive criticism and abuse, and we shouldn't stoop down to a level where we abuse someone because they haven't played well.
I think there's a very thick line between constructive abuse, constructive criticism, and abuse.
No,
And
but for abusers, there's a
and
thin line. They don't know what
no, for you to get to that level, for you to go from instead of criticizing the player's performance, for you to drop down to a level where you have to talk about his color, if you talk about his religion, if you talk about his country of origin, is it just shows like what kind of a person you are, and you don't belong. Let alone football, you don't belong to any community anywhere in the world. You just don't belong. And I think that's all
And
I can
these
speak
are
about.
the moments where I just loathe the toxicity of our fan base. And it's not even rivals are coming in, it's our own fan base that are abusing the players, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it at all.
Yeah, that's, I think, the hypocrisy of a football fan. But just on a finishing note, Atanu, we've Oli said in his post match interview that in our last Champions League outing, we won the first two games and then went on to not qualify. So it's okay if we've lost the first game. I think it's going to be very difficult. Till yesterday, I was, even in the game preview that I did with Sid, I think I said that we should qualify first because the teams are beatable with the squad that we have. We should be beating these teams, even Atlanta, even Villarreal. But now I'm really sort of worried because Villarreal have seen they've beaten us already and they know what we are. Atlanta are going to be tough to break down. I think it's going to be a difficult Champions League group stage again.
When people were expecting us to top the group, I said, okay, calm down. There's Atlanta in the group. There's Villarreal who have beaten us. But I was very, comfortable with facing young boys. I was like, yeah, man, 6 points in the bag. We'll go. We'll even defeat Atalanta. No chance. But uh, it's difficult. And you know what Oli said? Yes, he's trying to be a bit more optimistic that it's just been one match week. It's just been one match, but last time we won against the likes of PSG and Leipzig, and then went on to lose against Istanbul Başakşehir. This time, and nobody expected us to lose against Istanbul.
Yeah.
And this is the same thing that's happening. Nobody expected us to lose against young boys, and we have lost that. I expect us to go and just win those. We need those 15 points now. I think it's 15, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We need those 15 points at any cost if you have to qualify. I don't want us to be second. I don't want us to be stooped down to Europa League. I don't want Thursday nights back. Please, I don't want Thursday nights back. I'm fine with waking up at 1:30 a.m. on a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night.
I'm fine with not watching football one night. I'm fine with I can't watch.
But then it's just we can't be fourth, Priyan. We can't be fourth.
I can't watch Europa League once again. I can't. I just can't. I don't. It's such a bad place for a football fan because you obviously want to win the game. You obviously want to win the tournament. But even if you do go all the way and you win, it's the Europa League. No one gives a fuck about it. And
Priyan, and the last two times is the last two times is lost. The last time, the final, heartbreaking, man.
Yeah,
no sleep.
It's just better tears, and I better not talk about it itself. It's just
I don't want to experience that again. Yeah, so I just want to end the video on a positive note. Yes, it's been only a match day. Yes, you're allowed to criticize anyone you like. Please don't abuse them. And I know we'll be back. We'll be back with a bang. We'll get those 15 points, and we'll just forget that this happened.
Okay, so ending on Atanu's positive note, a super positive note, a hyper positive note. Thanks for joining us, Atanu. Thanks for joining us, guys. And do let us know in the comments if you agree with our criticism of Oli, if you think he should have done better, what you think he could have done better in the game. But that's all we have for you today. Thank you and have a good one.